Welcome to Just Chopsing Podcast. And today we have the uber talented David Evans, my cousin and co-host, and two guys from Welsh supergroup now, I think, Those Damn Crows, Ronnie and Shane Greenall. How's it going, lads?
Happening.
It's happening, boys. Thank you for having
No,
us.
it's not happening. It's fucking Just Chopsing. Wrong podcast.
Yeah, we're good, man.
That's why we took the sap off, you know.
I've got a fucking fly flying around me now. So what's happening, guys? Sorry. Go on, Dave.
I said, how you both doing? You all right?
Yeah, we're good, man. Super busy,
Yeah.
but that's what we wanted, you know. It's incredible, dude. It's non-stop, isn't it, Ron? It's 100 mile an hour, and there's no give up. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
So,
it is mental to go from like nothing, absolutely nothing, and then like we were doing little things throughout the pandemic. Obviously, Crowcast weekly, that was keeping us busy enough. But then to go from like no gigs or anything to planning like back end of 2022, now we're starting to sort 2023. And as Shane said, just every day is just bonkers at the moment because, you know, we were lucky through COVID. We were keeping busy then. But that was us literally getting up and keeping ourselves busy and keeping as active as we could. Where now you've got no choice of you. It's literally,
No.
you've got to get up early to get everything done. On top of anything else that you even want to do yourself, like, which no complaints at all. It's just adjusting to it, boys. That's all. So it's not even a bad thing. And I think any band who complains is, you know, nobody wants to go back to where we were, like, you know. So
every day's a crow day.
bonkers in a great way, like, you know.
Yeah. So that's what you signed up for. You know,
Yeah,
most bands are out there fucking slogging and, you know, wishing for the dream that you boys are achieving. So, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I just think, you know, like, whether it be us, I know there's a lot of other bands who kept active as well. I think you just make your own success. Shane's always said that as well, and I truly believe in it now. And it's not even an arrogant statement or anything. If you work hard enough, good things will start to happen. But you've got to put in that work. You can't just sit back and go, oh, you know, why haven't we got that tour? Why haven't we got this? Why isn't the manager doing that? Well, you either got to get on with things yourself, or you've got to make things happen, or you've just got to work that bit harder, like, you know. And I do credit the rest of the boys in the band because everybody's just grafting. And even when a pandemic happened, we didn't stop, did we, Shane? It was just, what can we do? Like, what can we do? Everyone's saying you can't do stuff, so what can we do?
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that's the key. And even though we're coming out of a pandemic and things are looking great, you know, we're still going, what can we do? You know, and even on top of our schedule now, we're still kind of wanting to do more. So it's like, I just think you've got to have that attitude these days. You've got to really got to graft for it, like, you know. It's completely different industry now, boys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Especially with the streaming services and stuff. You know, you don't have so many physical album and single sales, I guess. You know, as you did like 30 years ago, you know. And I think it was probably a little bit more exclusive that back then as well. You know, give bands a little bit more of a what's the right word for it? They were a little bit more untouchable, you know. They were a little bit more exclusive. And then now with today's social media and everything like that, you know, everybody's on top of everybody. So, and you know, you can tell what time you're having dinner and stuff, you know. And with the streaming services, your music is accessible 24/7 to anybody that wants to fucking listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a good thing. You know, you find bands through streaming services, Spotify and whatever, and it's a lot easier to find music you like. Obviously, I mean, streaming is a good thing in one way, but I think it's a bad thing in another. Simply because the band's not making any money, so. But there's that much choice. You're out there. You can find whatever bands you want to find and follow, and then hopefully buy if they've got physical records to sell, you know. What do you think?
Yeah,
Shane?
100%. I think the fan base is like a different animal these days. I think, yes, the industry's changed and that, but I think the fans have got so much power and say now. It's unbelievable. If they get behind a band, that band becomes successful. So that's the massive change as well. You are absolutely bang on with the digital platforms and stuff. It isn't like it was. And bands don't make as much money as they did back in the day, bastards. But the wonderful thing is that we've got a community now. Like we've got this force behind the Crows, and a lot of other bands have too. Like if you've got fans now, they're with you, for the entire journey. As long as you keep sort of progressing, that's the word, thanks so much. Progressing as a musician, and your music is as good as the last album and stuff. So it's a double-edged sword, really. There's positives and there's negatives. So
yeah. Well, the thing is, your fan base is so much larger as well. I mean, you're not only got like an exclusive fan base in South Wales, for example, but you've got the scope to grow. You've got the scope to grow worldwide, really, at a very fast rate as well.
Yeah, I mean, being Welsh boys and proud Welsh boys, but we knew straight from the word go, this wasn't going to be a local band. You just go down the pub and there's the Crows. We straight away wanted to hit every sort of well-known bar in the UK. Do you know what I mean? We went and travelled the UK, just because I think it's dangerous if you're just gonna put one egg in one basket sort of thing. We knew straight away. We've been doing this for years as well, dudes, but since we were kids, like, do you know what I mean? Since we were like 13, 14, so we know what it takes. But we've traveled the UK for years. It wasn't just a Welsh thing.
Yeah.
And echoing what Shane said then as well, even though we've been doing it for years, there still wasn't an arrogance in the band of, we don't have to play as much, or we don't have to go there for no money, or we genuinely played as many shows as we could. Because like a few people bring up like Facebook reminders now, and it was only like 4 years ago, we were playing in Wolverhampton, and I think we didn't even get any money that night, did we, Shane? It was just a case of we went up, we played Thirst, and then we drove home. It cost us more to hire the van, never mind put petrol in it, and people don't realise that. But yet again, a big thank you to the Crow family that was growing at that point, who bought the merch, because that kept us kind of alive, But just echoing what Shane said and adding that on top, really, that you still can't have that arrogance. A few people said, the boys, they got the experience. You can have the experience, but that can I've seen a few bands actually, it's kind of been a weight on them, because they think that they don't have to work as hard because they've got that experience. They feel that they could do less gigs, bigger gigs, but you really got to be hungry for it, haven't you, Shane? You just got to 9 hours, 10 hours in a van, like for no money. That's a reality sometimes,
Yeah, we had the same conversation with another Welsh band, Scarlet Rebels, and they were saying, things happened when he got signed and stuff, and the label came, and then all the doors opened. But Europe had been great, but that's when the real work started. It was constant, and it's not. I can tell you right now, Eureka don't give you this budget and just say go and tour the UK, and that's still coming out of our pockets. It's only when it comes to making an album and stuff, So all the gigs and all the hard work and all the graft behind the scenes is the band. So yeah, we've been working 5 times, 6 times as hard since we signed the record deal. There's just no substitute for it, boys. In every line of work, you put in what you get, what you put in. Simple as.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that. I mean, we've covered it on other podcasts, but I've managed a couple of bands myself, and my first band I managed, I said, right, this is the way we're going to work, because they were an English band, and I'm in Holland. I live in Holland. I've been living over here for like 22 years now. But I brought them all to Holland to live with me. They were an English band from Peterborough, and I said, this is how we're going to work. They were an unknown band, totally. I got a fucking demo through the post. I don't know how I got it, like. And I said, this is how it's going to work. If you want, you can come to Holland, live with me, I got a fucking fly flying around me. Live with me for a year. We'll see if we can make it. Because I had this fucking vision of what the Beatles did in Hamburg, you know. We'd play everywhere, play anywhere. And it worked out. They came over, they lived with me. And I said, as part of the deal, I won't be a manager as such. I'd just sign myself in as fifth member of the band. And everything gets split equally, you know. Except for, obviously, my expenses. I had to pay for them all myself. But yeah, after a year it worked out, and I managed to get the band signed, and like you said, I mean, I put so much work. I just lived and breathed it, you know. And you have to if you want to make it. You have to. And a lot of bands do, like you said, they do say, "Oh, now you signed to a label," and yeah, now it's going to get easy. It doesn't get fucking easy. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
You know, it gets twice fucking hard.
Are you wearing their merch now?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I wanted that red one there. That guy's got on. See that guy? I won one of them red ones.
They're all gone. They are now. They're all gone.
They are, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I had to squeeze into this one as well. It was a medium when I bought it. But, I'm filling it out a bit too much now.
It's a pandemic for you, dude.
I know. It's not good. But yeah, I can appreciate what you're saying here, because you know you guys are always on Facebook. You're always really active. You're always really busy. I know how many gigs you do because I've been to an awful lot of them myself. And the one thing you always do, and what you said about the Crow family, you always make time for everybody as well, which is awesome. And you know, every show I've been to, there's always a queue of people queuing up to speak to all of you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant to see. And I first come across you in 2016. It was the first time I went to Steelhouse, and you played on the Friday night. And that was the first time I watched you guys, and then I've just grown and grown as a fan. Do you know what I mean? So the 2 albums you released, I love everything on them. I gotta be honest, guys. Awesome.
Thank you, brother. That's brilliant. That is.
Awesome.
No, it's been incredible, and you're right. We try and make as much time as possible for everybody to come to see us. I mean, there's been times where, like, if we've got a run of shows and stuff, and like my manager, of course, we've got a new crew and stuff now, and they're all saying, "Look, Shane, you can't go out and talk now. We got a show tomorrow." Because I know it's mad. Like, you've been to see us, Dave. We give everything on stage, and I'm like, I honestly leave nothing. And by the time I come off stage, I'm ruined. But then, what really messes up the vocals is going out there and talking, talking constantly. That really drives the vocal cords out, and then you really struggle the day after. And I've only just kind of recently found that out. But so yeah, but we do try and get out and talk to as many people as possible if we can.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, Ronnie, go on.
No, I was going to say, we were talking about experience earlier. That's something that we've learned. That like early days, it was great. We were supporting every band, as you boys know. Like any band on the scene, we were like, right, we'll support you. And that's the way we did it. But that was an easier job, because it was like 1 or 2 gigs here and there. Even if we were playing weekly, it'd be like 2 or 3 dates here and there. And then we would spend half a night by the bar with everybody and having a drink. And but what we learned, which was the biggest crusher, is when we started doing the proper tours and the proper intense touring, and then like Shane would go out the same as us then afterwards. So he's not really clocking off until about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and that is constantly talking. And we only learned that really, where a lot of other bands, like you said, they are more untouchable. They do stay backstage, and you bloody understand it now, as like I said, it's otherwise, it's like doing this constantly, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Literally every day. I mean, I'm not even a vocalist, and I had a glimpse of like when we did Steelhouse, that's the longest I've talked. Well, because we've been off a road for 18 months. It was like that Sunday. I don't know how many people we spoke to, Shane. It was just incredible. And then even I woke up on the Monday and my throat was sore. And so if he's trying to sing, perform, and then go out and basically do a 3-hour meet and greet, and you're doing that every night, on top of then really bad sleep as well, because 9 out of 10 we got to travel to the hotel, and then we're not really going to bed till about 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, you want to hear the rock and roll stories, don't you, boys, of like party until 5 in the morning, but the truth is we're dying to get to bed, and you can't get there till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you wake up and you got to drive 6 hours to the next venue, so yeah.
No, we do appreciate it when you come out and chat with us. I mean, I know what it's like, because I said to Terry, we had a podcast, I think it was on the Tuesday after Steelhouse, and my throat was sore just from singing and shouting and talking as well, do you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not even having to worry about whether I'm in tune or not, do you know what I mean? But, yeah, I was saying to Terry about Steelhouse, what a show that was, guys. Absolutely immense, wasn't it? And how you guys aren't headlining. I was talking to my daughter earlier on, and she said about, you know, hopefully you guys will be headlining next time. I said, yeah, but we want it on the Saturday or Sunday night, not the Friday night. It's got to be on the headlining on the Saturday night. That's what we want. Sunday would be even better, because you could have the fireworks after you as well.
Yeah.
On stage.
They were bloody good fireworks, weren't they, this year?
They were tidy, yeah.
The 11, the sort of everybody, as soon as we hit that stage, I think I come on because they couldn't get the piano to work. And I literally just walked on stage and it erupted. And I was like, hang on, not ready yet. But like, it was the love and appreciation we get up that mountain is just something else. I haven't experienced anything like it at the moment in the career that we've had. We've had really special moments. But yeah, there's something about that mountain, man, and people go mad for the crows up there, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're heading for a special moment in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Cardiff Castle.
I think the castle's going to be really, really special that night.
Yeah, I think you're going to be pretty humbled, to be honest.
Well, the true story there was we came off the mountain, you know, Shane no voice, I sounded like an horse, and really bad hangover as well, mate. I had really bad hangover. And I woke up to a text. I don't know when Shane's seen it, but me personally, I woke up to a text that basically said Cardiff Castle, is it? And it was like, wow. And that's how quick it came together, like, because a lot of people thought that this has been kind of, you know, they always know where, like I said to you boys earlier, we're always kind of working on stuff. And yet it was brought up or mentioned in a different format, weren't it, before, Shane? So there was like a kind of conversation about it. But yeah, when I came through and I was half hungover and I had to look at my phone like 2-3 times, I was like, oh my God, we're playing Cardiff Castle in a couple of weeks. And then you do start kind of questioning the band, and like, because everything we're doing is just incredible at the moment. And I know me personally, I was like, oh, that's not much notice, that's not. And then obviously we knew we were working with Cardiff City Council, we knew we were working with Fuel on it, so we knew like there was going to be different restrictions on it, there was going to be different rules and regulations to other events, and then all of a sudden it just sold out in 24 hours, and we were like, what were we thinking? It's like, oh, incredible.
What are you worrying about?
Yeah, well, when I saw it come out, and I was like, I can't remember what day the actual tickets was going to be released, but I straight away, because we were watching the telly, and I said, right, Crows, Castle, Friday, welcome. And she was like, yeah, okay, because I said they ain't going to be there long. I said they will sell out. I said they're going to sell it out really quick, and so I wasn't surprised it sold out in 24 hours. And then you release more, and it sold out again. So I just knew it was going to happen, because especially, you know, coming off the Steelhouse as well, I reckon you would have made a lot of although you've already got a phenomenal amount of fans, you would have made a lot of new fans again at Steelhouse, do you know what I mean? So these festivals are great, aren't they? You know, to show off your talents, and, you know, you guys absolutely own it up there. You said you were the best band of the night, best band of the weekend for my money.
Ooh, that's a big one, Dave, because Toby Jepson played as well.
I know,
it's an incredible compliment.
They were
incredible.
And I love Toby, and I absolutely adore the guy, but you can't beat Crows up the mountain. You just can't beat it. And they were phenomenal. They had the crowd going. It was just, it was fucking insane. Honestly, God, it was amazing.
Thank you, Ben. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
I think what Shane said, it was just a moment in our history of, you mentioned 216 earlier, and we as a band, we always talk about Steelhouse. It's no shit. We always talk about it, and it's been a journey for the band. It's mad because anything we've gone off and done, or whether we got the deal, or whether we ended up playing over in Germany in the pandemic, or then it always comes back and pinpoints to Steelhouse. So it always ping pongs back. And I think you're right, man. It's like one day it's got to be the right slot, and whether it's got the fireworks or not, it's got to have that right day, and that will be it'll be an incredible story, only because you are right, we started on that Friday night when it weren't really a night as well, a Friday. It was more like a warm-up, and Saturday and Sunday was the main crest of that festival, and then to obviously edge our way up, and we played like Saturday afternoon, didn't we, Shane? And then we did another one then, because obviously the weather was really bad that year, so they invited a few of the bands back, so we were pinged back to a Friday night again then, and there was a lot of rumors then of or rumblings of, you should be headlining, and so yeah, maybe everything adds up. So everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? So
it does, yeah. Well, I remember because on the Friday night, the Wagons headline, and you guys played, and it just erupted. And I was thinking, oh, God help the Wagons coming on after this, because I would not want to follow that. You know what I mean? And I think Baz actually said that as well. Do you know what I mean? He's like, why would you put me on after them?
I love him to bits, but yeah, he did. He said it to us backstage, didn't he, Shane?
Yeah.
Which we were like,
It was the first time we brought the piano out on stage, and that was the first proper band rendition of Blink of an Eye on piano. And Baz didn't know, and he was waiting on the side as we were like prepping and all that. And then, of course, I took the thing off the piano, and he's like, "You got a piano?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You bastard!" just thinking it's hard enough now, like. So yeah, he's like, "You put out all the stops."
Yeah, it was a special night. And it was the same at Planet Rockstock as well. So it was, I think it might have been the Sunday. It was at the Heat pulled out, and you guys ended up filling that slot. But what was amazing was nobody was expecting it to be there, but every fucker had a Crows t-shirt on that night.
Yeah.
I remember turning up, and I was like, they're not even supposed to be here, and everybody's still wearing it, because I had my Crows, and Mrs. had it, my daughter. We all took our Crows tops to sort of like rep you guys anyway. Obviously frustrated because you weren't on the bill, and then you turned up on the bill the following day.
Oh, that was such a brilliant sort of it was a mental 48 hours. That was. We had the call from John Norman. Do you fancy doing the show? And I just went, yeah. And then John goes, do you want to ask the boys? I was like, yeah, good idea. So I rang the boys, like, do you want to do? And then the boys got back straight away. Yes, we're doing it. Go back to John Norman, and it was done. And we kept it quiet. And the stories we had when we turned up then on site, and everyone was saying, oh, they announced it, and the raw you heard when there's good news and there's bad news. Bad news, Heat won't be joining us, but the good news is those damn Crows.
Yeah.
And everyone said they just erupted. So it's a wonderful feeling, boys, and all this hard work and graft is paying off. But the love and respect we got for the Crow family is unreal, because it's just like it's insane. It's like Iron Maiden fans, man. They're so
loyal.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and just to add to that story as well, Shane, because obviously there was the excitement of Shane signing the contract without asking everyone and that, and then we did the whole like dreaming thing that we were like, oh, it's like a Foo Fighters thing or anything where a band turns up and and everybody doesn't expect it, and then we had that sudden shit. What if everyone's unhappy? Because we started thinking, oh no, yeah, that's great to dream up, but we didn't know where the band actually was in the scale of it. And then like I don't know who said in the band, but it's like, yeah, because Heat had a really good slot that year, so it was like, oh shit. So then the thoughts then, I hope they are happy now. And then like Shane said, when it got through to us that it got mentioned on the Tannoys and everybody was roaring and cheering, oh my god, the band just we were just building, the buzz was building all day with us, and the excitement, it was just brilliant, like, but that was the same as like fair play to John Norman there when he first put us on in Winter's End. That was a Steelhouse moment for me, because I just remember the anxiety of like when we turned up and seeing people with Crows t-shirts on then, and one of the boys that was with us in the van, he hadn't seen us for a long time, and he goes, fucking hell, boys, when what's going on? Because he could just see all these Crows t-shirts happening, and we were like, wow. And then a lot of people I know hadn't heard of us that year, did they, Shane? And it was a kind of, prove yourself vibe. And then when we hit that stage, that was a special one for me, because I felt the band won won the crowd over. Like, we were, if I remember, we were under Wayward Sons and Temperance Movement.
Okay.
That was the year of that. And I just remember people going, why have they got that slot? And you could hear that, you know, yet again, you hear little rumblings, and we are close to the scene, so we do listen. And it was just a nice reward then afterwards when the merch table, we were on the merch table for like hour and a half, 2 hours again. It was like, it was so long, wasn't it, mate? And sold out of everything. We were just writing on random stuff in the end just to try and give it to people, like, you know, but it was just such a rewarding thing to, like, even look back at that moment, to Planet Rockstock then, which yet again was like a turning point. And who was on after us in Planet Rockstock? Oh man, was it? It wouldn't have Dead Daisies, was it? Or
was it Dead Daisies? Yeah, wasn't it?
No, I've never seen them. They never turn up.
Yeah.
They can't land their helicopter on the mountain, can they? No, I've never seen the Dead Daisies.
I know when on after us, it was like, no, I weren't a Dead Daisy straight on after us. Was it Skid Row? Or was that a different year again?
It was the Quiet Boys. Was that the year?
Quiet Boys. I know, like, it was hard because we had the merch table again, didn't we? And there was a lot of people at the merch table. So it was like, it was just the momentum had gone again, and a lot of people were, you know, we were humble and they were all saying you should headline, and it was just like, oh, it'll happen one day. So yet again, that's another one I know on our radar to headline one day, like, you know. Just incredible, like Shane said, it's the fans who make the bands, like, it's the genuine thing about it. Buy the merch, they support us, and it's an incredible payoff, isn't it, when it all works out, like.
Yeah,
it's good.
Well, in 2016 then, you brought out Murder and the Motive. You brought that out yourselves, I guess. And then when you signed to Earache, you re-released it with some different tracks. What different tracks were they? Can you remember?
We took off 4 songs, I believe, and put on brand new 2. Say It, Behind These Walls. Was that it?
Yes.
Yeah, we worked with Mike Exeter, who's worked with, you know, anybody, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, big friends of theirs as well. So, you know, we were so excited to work with Mike, and he nailed it. We loved the whole session with him. And yeah, it was just, they wanted to make the album stronger. And it was just a no-brainer, really, you know. Do you want to work with Mike Exeter? Yeah, right. But, you know, that wasn't to do with Earache, believe it or not. Our manager at the time was really good friends with Mike Exeter. So that was the in there. Okay. Yeah, he's an incredible human, Mike. Not just a brilliant session mixer and engineer, but he's just like this wonderful Buddha human. Do you know what I mean? He's just like, he's got all the advice in the world. He's been through shit and come out the other side. And yeah, it was an incredible experience, not just for the music.
Did he remix the whole album then? Again for you? You know, the original album? Take songs off, put new songs on.
It was a mismatch. It was, in an ideal world, I mean, it's probably the first time I'll say this because it's like looking back now on reflection, but ideally we wouldn't have released it. But we gone through so much, like, heartache, ups and downs, that myself and Shane just got fucked off with the bullshit, didn't we? But it was the case of, we have to drop this record, because I remember the manager who was with us then, I don't know whether we signed to him at that point or we were just talking to him, because he said maybe hold off on releasing it yourselves, wouldn't it? I just remember that because I was down the garden speaking to you when it was the case of, we were just like, we got to put it out. We've just got to put it out, because that was like, you know, myself and Shane working late in the night trying to work out how to release a fucking record on yourself. But it was trying to work out the coding and everything that runs alongside it, like even down to artwork dimensions and stuff to get it right digitally. And it was like, oh, but we just had to put that out because, I don't know, it was just a case of we'd wasted a lot of time waiting on other people, like, you know. We'd been very fortunate from the start and had a few opportunities, but through those opportunities become a lot of just hanging around. And then Shane had the game plan of, no, let's just go. Let's make our own path, which worked, you know. So part of that, I'm glad we put it out, because we just didn't have enough music out there, did we, mate? There was just no. But in an ideal world, we should have held off. And I remember our manager now, actually, who's on board now. There's an email I came across, and he even said then maybe a couple more songs, which is like what Shane said. It ended up being like, you know, it was the case of, because we did the album ourselves, and obviously no Uric at that point, and then we were going to do an EP with Mike Exeter as an in between, wasn't it, Shane, to possibly lead on to a second album, or. But it was like, let's go in and do a group of songs with him. And then obviously Uric came along when we were doing some support slots with Wagons and other bands on the roads. They came to watch us in Nottingham. We went out to Ibiza, played a show out there, came back, signed a deal. And what we thought would be album number 2 ended up being, let's re-release Murder and a Motive, and let's take that from that. So it ended up being quite a mix match of recording in Rockfield, recording with Ramesh in Cardiff, engineered by a guy called Ginge, who used to be in Dub War and Skin Dread. Then Mike Exeter. And then I think finally, Shane will say this, was it kind of overall mixed by Ramesh, or was it just...
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, right, okay. All right,
How
cool.
do I get my hands on one of those original ones then?
Ronnie's got one in the drawer.
Like rocking or shit they are, aren't they?
Oh, Shane might have one. They're like rocking or shit, apparently.
Yeah, they're my nest egg. So, you know.
Terry said to me, messaged me earlier on, he said he'd got one. I said, no, I got the other ones, but I like.
Yeah, see, he's not a true fan, is he?
I haven't got a pension. I just got 105 black and white first albums.
I wouldn't release your address then, Shane, because you're going to have a shitload of Crow fans patching the door down, mate.
Well, we were looking the other day, and one went for £150 on eBay.
Never.
And if you're listening, no, it wasn't one of us. One of us. But yeah, we were really shocked with that. We were like shocked and gutted at the same time, because we were like, bloody hell, we could have made far more.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, very rare collector's item, like, you know.
How many did you make then? If you made them yourself?
I think originally there was a good few hundred units, because this was the beautiful thing about the band, and like Shane says about experience, we started the band as a business pretty much straight off the bat, didn't we, Shane? So we kind of had a record of what we were buying, what we were selling. You know, because there's a difference. Like, you've managed bands, and you, like you said, there's a difference between saying to a label or a manager, yeah, we've sold 1,000 units. Well, how do you really prove that? So the only way you prove it is by receipts and records, rather than selling 5 records at the merch table and then going and get pissed. Like, you know, it's put it all back into the band, watch the band grow, like, you know. And so, yeah, we did well. But yet again, it was only like just selling them on the merch table, and... I think we had the store back then as well, didn't we, Shane?
Yeah, we had a small store. Yeah, I think we done over about 2,000 units, like, when we did it, which was, you know, doesn't sound a lot, but you know, we were nobody. We weren't really. I think that's the problem. See, we signed with a big agent, and they kind of shelved us, and we were waiting for these gigs to happen. They just weren't happening, and then. Yeah. We need to get this album out. We need to do shows, and then it was just a case of like taking control again, doing as many shows as you possibly can. Give it your all. Sell the CDs. That's the only way. That's the That's the organic way, innit? To just, you know, reach new audiences and stuff. And there's people in the Crow family now that were there at that first gig, you know, and second gigs and third gigs up at Camden Barfly, you know, or the Moon Club in Cardiff. And they can't believe, you know, with the trajectory of the band. But it's just, I can't stress this enough. Any band out there, don't wait. Do not wait. If your music is good enough, and if you're good enough, get out and do shows. That's it. That's all you got to do. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it and analyze it. Get out to do what you love and make it the best show you can be. And if it's good enough, people will know. And they'll just word of mouth. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even if it costs you 30 quid, do you know what I mean? If it costs you as a band, if it costs you 30, 40 quid between you, just get out and fucking do it, like.
Fuck, it's costing us more than that. Jesus
That's what
Christ.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
no, I
say,
mean,
that's being generous. That is fucking hell.
yeah, but I mean, that's, you know, in layman's terms, I mean, you know what I mean?
I think the worst ones for us was when we started stringing together dates. Where I say it's the worst, it was the best, but it's the worst financially. Is you start putting together little tours of support. So, for example, we were bouncing from Swansea to Nottingham, back down to Leicester to wherever, and we just make lists of all the bands that were shit hot and creating a buzz. Anybody who was creating a buzz just made the list for our band, and we'd be like, we got to support them, and that was it. There was no, you know, you've got to go out and play with everybody you can, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And like Shane said, that was the best way then, because it was selling the CDs, it was selling the T-shirts, and then we'd get bands. Then, you know, 6 months, 8 months later, we'd start looking at them online, and you'd see our T-shirts in the pictures, and then a year and a half, you know, that Iron Maiden-esque thing, we'd be still supporting bands, and we'd finish playing first or second, and they'd be furious because we weren't playing higher, and they'd leave the venue, and we were like, fuck, you know, what's going on? And that's a really true story, that is, Shane, and and like, not even locally, boys. That's what blew, because we still haven't done a gig in Bridgend, yeah. It was the case of,
Have you never done one in Bridgend?
not as this band, no, as a fan.
Never.
Yeah, somebody asked that the other day, and they couldn't believe that. They were like, yeah, whatever. Obviously you played your local. No, we haven't. Because genuinely, the first thing we thought was, you can play local, but we'll pack it with all our friends and family. All right, unless you've got a real cock as a friend, they're all going to turn around and go, oh, you're amazing. You're amazing. So the whole ethic of the band was, let's play as far away from home as possible. So if we're shit, no one will ever know.
But if this list wasn't just about getting on shows that are bands that are doing well to almost get to a bigger crowd, it was literally to see where we were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It wasn't. For me personally, I was thinking, right, if that band are doing this and everyone's loving that singer or loving that band and their songs and stuff, how do we compare? And I'd be there honestly. If I could have a pad and a pen, I'd be taking notes, and I'd be like, okay, they're doing that. What am I going to bring? What am I going to do that's different? And it became then individual parts that are a force as a collective. Do you know what I mean? We weren't looking at it going, we could make more money, or we could, you know, the more people are there, sell more merch. It wasn't that. It was learning. It was creating the opportunities for us to improve on the next show.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the same as we did. I mean, back in the day, we played support shows with like the Fratellis, the Subways. There's an American band called, We Are Scientists.
Yeah, I know him well. Yeah,
we did 5 shows with them, and then when we did eventually get signed, we were lucky enough to fall in with Golden Earring. You know, a Dutch band called Golden Earring. They had one of the massive worldwide hits called Radar Love back in the day.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were lucky enough to do 16 shows with them. You know. So yeah, and it is all time, and no other band had done more than 3 shows as support for Golden Earring, because they wouldn't have them on because it was too much of a headache getting this stuff in, getting this stuff out, you know. But by then we'd learned how to do it properly, and we took our own sound man and everything. So we also took our own board. So they were like, we did 1 show as a tryout, and they were like, no, all right, we'll invite you back for another one. And so that went well, you know. Did another show. Oh, we'll invite you back for another one. 2 shows in the bag. This is unheard of with Golden Earring, like. And then we did the 3rd show, and they were like, "Yeah, you got 16 shows." So it's all about learning, you know, learning, like you said, Shane. And it's like, the more you learn, the better you will be.
That's it. If you put yourself in a position where, you know, you're asking questions, if you're brave enough and honest enough with yourself, you know.
Yeah,
so I think like people just go and do the gig, get shit faced. That was good, wasn't it? Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. But you know, how are you going to be better next time round? And I think, you know, as Ron said, there was the business side of things, not money. I'm not talking about money.
The fucking money in it.
The gradual progression of a band as a business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And now you're going to be seeing other bands. Now they're going to be looking up to you guys and doing the same thing and following you around and trying to get onto your shows.
I mean, we've already started trying to help. You know, it works both ways, man, because we started off together, myself, Shane and Shiner, so we know how hard it is, like when you were 16 years of age, trying to knock on the door of not even like the bigger bands, but bands who were doing well in a Shane, like, you know, whether they be in a scene. And even then there was a sense of you've got to get out and earn it. But like we've already tried to take a few bands, like, you know, Tribal-S, who were a Welsh band, and they were, let's be honest, they were starting out. But we wanted to give them a go and try and give them like experience that you only get on the road, basically, like, you know, and that was refreshing. And like in Cardiff now, we've got Cardinal Black, which, you know, we're not exactly giving them experience because all those boys have grafted for years. It's just this is a new project, but yet again, it's beautiful to be part of their first show, and to say like they're a quality band who write quality songs, and we get to influence the bill for a change. Like, do you know what I mean? And as Shane said earlier, you know, that was the whole point of playing with some of the bands on the scene. We watched them on whether it be the socials or we'd gone to see them live and gone, well, we want to play shows with these guys. And I think it's really important support bands need to learn as well is the show is about that band in particular. It's hard. You think when you headline it gets easier, but it's actually harder. The pressures are higher. Then you've got crew involved, then you've got this involved. The expenses go up. So what you want from your support bands is just to be there, do their best, and not be a pain in the arse. And I always feel that that's what we did as a support band. And Shane always says the same, whether we do any chats or interviews or anything, is, you know, just be there, do your craft, make our 30 minutes the best fucking 30 minutes you can, and get the fuck out of the way, like, do you know what I mean? And just don't be a pain, don't be a hindrance on the crew more than anything, because they've got the stress of clearing stages, and so there's a real etiquette about support. And I do think that favoured us in the earlier days as well, of, you know, playing with certain bands in the scene, and they'd go, wow, you guys are pro, like, you know, we adapted to really fucked up like venues where it was so hard to get your back line out, or the conditions were, it was just solid, but we never mourned. It was fucking hard work, but we just got on with it. And I think we were even changing out in the street on some gigs in the middle of fucking winter when I sweat, steam coming off, like, you know, cymbals are getting soaking, 300-pound cymbals getting soaking, but you're trying to pack them down on the street and get them in the van, and the last thing you want to say to the band is, oh fucking hell, you know, because that's the slot you got, that's the fee that you agreed, and you just crack on and you get on with it, and you learn from that, like you learn you know, what was right about it, what was wrong about it, and how you adapt, like Shane said. So you can't pay for that experience, boys.
No, like you said, you know, you just thank the band that you're supporting for the opportunity, get your stuff off, get it packed away as quick as possible, and then get around the front and watch the band if you can, you know, if you've got time, like, you know what I mean, have a drink at the bar. If people enjoyed you, they'll come and talk to you, you know what I mean, sell a bit of merch and that. It's good. So I was reading something about you, Ronnie, earlier. Your dad is a former musician then?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's 95 now.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I know. He's fucking old boy, like, love him. But yeah, he was a former musician, so I was very fortunate, and I grew up in a pit, and I know we live in Wales, so it's not like down the fucking mines. I grew up in a musical, like an orchestral pit. So I was really fortunate to have that view. I worked backstage from an early age, so from like 9-10 I was like doing property master work and stuff, so I always had like a passion for the arts, like that's the best way to explain it. And like when I was in school with Shane, his dad had a musical background as well, which has rubbed off with Shane, which I think made our connection strong from an early age, like, you know, and we were able to take that and almost just craft it into what we wanted to do, like, you know. And I do feel there's a natural essence to that, which isn't forced. It isn't, because my dad never wanted me to be a drummer, and that's the God's honest truth. And Shane will speak about his own dad, but with my dad it was the case of, I think he wanted me to have a proper job because I was guaranteed money, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do look back now and I think some of the things he said weren't weren't being mean. It was just the fact of he was just trying to scare me away from it. But I've gone down a completely different road to him. I mean, we write music, we rehearse, we perform, we look to put on a rock show. My dad, love him, was a session musician, so it's a completely different art to that. You're playing someone else's songs basically and getting paid very good money for it, might I add. So
what did he play?
Drums.
Oh, he played drums, did he?
Yeah. And the only thing I wish I would have done more of is his good mate Ted, who's not with us anymore, because like he got on with him, and I always used to tinkle on his piano, and I think that's why like now I can hear little melodies and stuff. And Ted used to help me, but my fingers are really short, and that's why I laugh with Shane. I can only really do the one hand. I was interested more in the melodies of songs. And I couldn't touch my old man's kit. He was just like, Shane knows him. You can imagine it. He'd be playing in these big auditoriums or big pavilions, like in Porthcawl or whatever. And you've got the acoustics or the new theatre in Cardiff. And I remember sitting on and I'd start doing like, especially when we were in school, dude, and like we were like practicing and stuff. I'd sit in there, do like a John Bonham lick or something, and you could just, I could feel him appear. I didn't even have to see him. He just appeared, and the look was enough. I just put the sticks back down and walked off like, he is the guy off Step Brothers. Don't fucking touch my drums. Like, you know? So. But I think it was different with Shane. I think like his dad was more encouraging towards like, you know, playing the guitar and having a sing along and stuff, like, you know.
Was he, Shane?
Yeah, he was. He had this incredible voice, this deep sort of, it was like velvet voice. He was, you know, he sang country and stuff, but you know, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, all the country legends and stuff. But he would play guitar, and you know, he'd show me like C, F, and G, and then I kind of went and did my own thing, really. You know, as a kid, when you see your dad, you want to beat them, don't you? You know, that's the competition, that's the bar. And but he always encouraged me. It was always a case of we'd play a song together, and then he'd leave like, I don't know, 6 to 8 bars and just say, come up with something. And he'd always ask me to improvise and stuff, you know. So I'd be like Hank Marvin, but there on my little parts and stuff. And but it you know, the country side of things as well, you know, the storytellers, they were, you know, they knew what to write the song, you know, whether you like country or not. It's that was like the foundations, really. But then I loved, you know, proper bands then, so to speak, guitar-based bands, and grunge was huge when we were kids. But we were lucky as well. So not only did we have fathers that, you know, put that musical bug straight onto us when we were kids, we were so fortunate to have one of the best music teachers there was. That really kind of brought us together, and just so supportive, you know. He was incredible. Again, letting you have freedom within the music class. There was a curriculum, and then it was a case of do your curriculum, then crack on and do what you want. So we'd come in break times, we'd jam. He would allow me, I was the only pupil in the school he'd allowed to go on his piano. You know, music rooms, I don't know, it was like where you were, boys, but it was always these little booths around the room with these little Casio keyboards.
Yeah.
Whenever he saw me on one, he's like, no, go and use a piano. You know, he just made me feel like a musician at that big. Do you know what I mean? And that gives you confidence then that someone has that, I don't know, look on you and just thinks, yeah, go and crack on, go and be whatever you want to be. And those two men in my life, I owe everything to music. So
yeah. Did you ever have singing lessons?
No, just my dad would constantly, he was the type of guy, right? I remember being like really young, and you'd be sitting there and you couldn't wait to get home from school, stick the TV on or you know, a Sky and that, and he'd just waltz in with his guitar and start playing in the living room, and you look at him going, you're ruining my TV program here. he just, it's like there's a kitchen and dining room, why don't you go and play in there? He's like, no, because he wants me to get involved.
Yeah.
So I'd be there thinking, half of me's like thinking, you're ruining my show, but half of me's thinking, I know what he's doing, yeah. And then you can't wait, you get the buzz, and you get up and grab the guitar, and then before you know it, you're singing. And then, of course, my brother and sister, they can sing too. It was like the fucking Von Trapp family in my house. Like, it it was wonderful memories, boys. Wonderful memories growing up. It was always singing, and then we'd go over either the extended family come over, cousins and uncles and aunties. They'd all be drinking. We'd all be singing songs, and it was just like a variety show. Honest to God, it was just, again, expressing yourself to just make people laugh or sing a song, or it was good times, man. Good times.
Yeah, excellent.
That's cool.
So you got you've got the sold out show now coming up in Cardiff, like we mentioned, and you've got some good Welsh bands on there, like you said. And also Scarlet Rebels are playing with you. You know, it's nice to see that you're in a position now where you can help some younger bands, not necessarily Welsh bands if you don't want to, but you know, if you go back in time to where the Lost Prophets were championing other Welsh bands, if you like, you know, bands like the Blackout, Kids and Glass Houses, bringing them through.
Yeah.
You know, now you guys are pretty much in the same sort of position, really, that you can do that, you know, and I mean, that must be a good feeling in itself.
Yeah, I mean, we've played in the scene with all those bands for years anyway, like, you know, for at least like the last 15, 20 years, or when they were about anyway. So we get the ethics of it. It was Scarlet Rebels was a no-brainer for us because we tried to kind of sort them out with a few gigs before. It didn't line up right. This one, it was an all Welsh bill anyway. It's the whole point of it. It's Cardiff Castle. It's for fuel. It's to help grassroots venues. It's for Cardiff City Council. So there's a lot of bands. I don't want to name them yet because we might have them on other bills. But like, for example, Chepstow Castle, which I know we got next year. We've got Mason Hill, Florence Black, James and the Cold Gun, Tribalists. They're all up and coming bands, all lively, all full of beans. Mason Hill's just had the chart success. So we're always looking at like who's doing what in the scene and who's working for as well in a Shane. That's another thing, like, you know, it's if you're working hard, we wanna work with you, like, you know, we want to put on the best show possible for everybody who's buying the tickets, like, you know, so we always look at it as an overall sell basically. And Cardinal Black and Scarlet Rebels was just a no-brainer for us. There's something new, something fresh. Shane put me in touch with Chris, like to his body of work and stuff. Obviously I'd seen Buck and Evans, but I hadn't seen a lot of his like guitar stuff on Instagram, but Shane always used to say about it in the van traveling. And then I did the same with like Cardinal Black with him. It was like I was just yet again a fresh vibe. I loved his voice, and I was just super excited to see him live. And now we get the chance to do it, play a gig and watch him live at the same time. So it's it's worked out a double banger for us, like, you know.
That's good, isn't it? Scarlet
Rebels are just fellow road warriors who we've seen like up and down service stations all over the country. Because that's just like, it's in your blood, isn't it? If you wanna get on, you've got to travel, you've got to get out to as many people as possible. And you know, it's nice to see the boys now just signed to Earache, and fingers crossed they just keep working hard and it all starts paying off for them, like, you know. But there's so many other Welsh bands that we still haven't played with or shared a stage with. So, you know, there's loads more there. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you've left them out," but we're always thinking about bands. So...
You can only have so many on the bill with you, can't you?
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, you know, we're only now stepping into this because of COVID. We're only now stepping into this really fortunate position of headlining. I mean, you know, for years everybody was asking us to headline, and it started to happen before COVID, and then it was taken away, and now we're only just jumping back on it. So it is really nice. We did a gig up in Bradford the other day, and we had Edenthorne play with us, who are a British band, and that's I kind of love that. Like, you know, it's there's a lot of great bands. It's exciting time again for music. So it's exciting being in a band. It's exciting being around bands. I love it. Like, you know.
Yeah. So you're finally getting the opportunity to tour Point of No Return. You know, you released it in 2020 in the midst of a pandemic. So I know you can't get it on the road, but now you've got that. You know, you finally got that chance, I suppose.
It's really strange, boys, because, you know, I'll tell you right now, we're working on another album, so to to now go and tour our second album when we're, you know, thoroughly sort of into the third album feels really strange, because they feel like old songs, but they haven't been, they're brand new and on the live
on the live
situation.
scene, yeah.
So yes, it's brilliant, and there's certain songs that we knew that were going down really well. Obviously, you look at Spotify, right? We look at all those figures, which song is really hitting home with all the fans, but it's not until you play a club and then you feel what those people are thinking. You know, it's like Sin on Skin, for example. When the crowd hear that, they go absolutely balmy, and it's like, you know, Spotify numbers are brilliant on that song, but there's just something about, you know, when that crowd, because we haven't experienced that. We haven't experienced feeling their love for it. We've seen it in figures, but not experienced it. So it's incredible, and we've only done a handful of shows where we're playing old songs to us now.
Yeah.
But they're still relatively new on the live scenes. It's really strange.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, that Sit on Skins had 1.5 million streams.
Yeah, it's doing all right.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Mad.
The bizarre thing is, there's still songs on Point of No Return that we still haven't played live.
That's right, yeah.
But we can't play them live yet, because yet, even though we're headlining, we've still only got a portion of time to play, like. So, you know, like Steelhouse, as you've seen.
Song off you.
Yeah, but in all fairness, there was a bit of like tongue in cheek, but there, like, you know, obviously me and Shane.
For us not in the crowd, we were all fucking booing, but.
Well, I know, but that's part of my background. See, growing up in the pantomimes and that, it was like, you know, oh, you know, get them like roaring, like, you know, and but you know, part of that was technical issues, which it couldn't be helped. Our crew were doing everything they could to make the problems go away. It did eat into the time. It would have had to come off therapy, or it would have had to come off darkness. All right, I know a lot of people said it should have, but
well, you should have just chucked them off and stayed on all night.
Well, it don't work like that in the real. It just don't work like that. You know, it was our, like I said, it was technical issues for us, not Steelhouse. Otherwise, I know Steelhouse would have they would have more than bent over backwards for it. But they actually did us great anyway. They, you know, like I said, and that's gone. But even moving forward, like the Castle now, you know, I know we're playing a bit longer in the Castle, but still trying to get in stuff there. Like we just played Bradford and we played North Wales. We still left out songs that we wanted to put in, and they were still afterwards. People went, "Oh, you didn't play Send the Reaper, you didn't play," and it's like, oh man, yeah, I forgot about that. It is mad only having 2 records, but yet there's a lot of favourites on there from people. So yeah, it's just really interesting. And like Shane said, we are on album number 3 now, and instantly now I can hear like live stuff that's, I think, is going to connect with people, and it's going to become a live song or extended as we're known for, or and then it's like, what do we leave out then? It's mad, like, you know.
What about bringing out a live album? Because you guys are really, you know, you are a live band, isn't you? And I'm a massive fan of like all the extended versions of the songs. I love it. And then especially when you know, it reminds me of like Iron Maiden when they played at Donington, and they're doing the Running Free, and Bruce is getting the crowd into. Yeah, you guys do that brilliantly well as well. And I think a live album's definitely got to be on the cards. Don't you reckon?
I would do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a DVD.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah.
I was just thinking,
with Shane and I hanging off the rafters, or wherever he's hanging from.
I think if we could have had more time, possibly Cardiff Castle could have been turned into some sort of live DVD. It's just like I said, the turnaround has been absolutely crazy at the moment, and it's bonkers, like, you know. And we are still in a COVID world, which is mad, because I know everybody's had a little breather. Did you say you're over in Amsterdam? What's it like over with you at the moment? Or you're over in Holland?
I'm in Holland now. I'm just outside Eindhoven.
Yeah. Is it all right over there? Is it?
Not really. It's still fucked. You know, they've not allowed any festivals until at least the 1st of September. Okay. You know, there's some small live gigs, obviously, with COVID regulations in place. The bars and everything are still really limited. because most, like in the city, most bars are open till 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, and they've had to curfew all that back till 12 o'clock. And actually, where I live in Helmond, there's like a load of bars on the big canal front, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And 3 weeks ago was the beginning of the holiday period here for the kids, for the school holidays, and there was that many people over on the waterfront that the police went in there at something like 10:30 in the evening, I think, and just shut the fucking lot down. So yeah, still a bit messed up. I mean, there was supposed to be a festival at the end of this month, and Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons were supposed to play there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's all been, like I said, everything's off until at least the 1st of September, and yeah, the way it's going, I don't think festivals will be put back on, to be honest. Not this year, yeah.
We've been very lucky, haven't we? But I think that's part of rolling out this vaccine and everything, see, in the UK, so that's why they've been able to open up.
Well, they've done all the vaccines here as well, but, you know, it's, yeah, I don't know if they're just being overcautious or, I mean, because, I mean, up until, well, actually is now still going on, Dutch people going into Germany are getting stopped by the police in Germany if you're getting over the border. I mean, because they put the borders back in place. And if you're actually getting into Germany, the police are just stopping you, making sure you've been vaccinated, making sure you've done the lateral flow test. And if you haven't done it, they're just turning you around. So even Dutch people can't get into Germany. Like,
that's not, yes. Well, we do that anyway. We don't allow English in Wales, so that's all right.
Stopping them at the bridge. So yeah, it's still a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. Mainland Europe is.
It's bonkers our end. I mean, like we, myself and the boys went out on Saturday for a couple of beers, which was beautiful, like, you know, and yeah, it was just, you know, it's strange then when you are asked to put a mask on. I think that was the weird thing when I was drinking. I'd forgotten about stuff, if that makes sense, and then you have that reality check like end of the night, and it was like, can you put your mask on? And part of you saying, oh fuck, I hope I haven't dropped it now or anything, but yeah, it was, you know, and then so you can't get home otherwise, do you know what I mean? That's the hardest thing. So it's just a reality check, and then out and about again today, and you know, it's mask on, mask off, and then it's great. I'm seeing announcements left, right and centre on the socials of bands moving, but I know we're making plans, and we're still waiting, you know. It's still uncertainty, like, which is it's a shit to say that, but it's just a reality, innit, like, you know.
Yeah,
so, because, you know, unfortunately the more you're making a name for yourself, which is amazing, sometimes it's tougher because there's a lot more money at stake, and you know, the insurance isn't there and stuff like that at the moment. So and especially like coming over to you guys in, like, over in Europe and stuff, it's a lot harder to kind of navigate at the moment, especially if you're trying to work with crew and stuff. It's it's just trying to kind of put those dots and the T's together, like, you know. It's but it's positive, like I said. We're all we're having some kind of burst of it as well. So, and the footy was back on the weekend, which was incredible to see. Watching United win 70,000 in the stadium was brilliant.
Awesome.
United, were they?
Arsenal didn't do very well.
Oh, are they gonna? Were they not fucking gonna? Were they? Even though they got a fancy new kit.
Yeah, you know, the top of the league will end it there. So I'm happy with that. We'll finish top.
Rubbish.
You've got some really big gigs coming up this year, anyway, haven't you? Because obviously you're at Brockstock again.
Yeah.
Later on in the year, which is cool. So I got my ticket for that already. So that'll be really, really good. And then you've got some lined up for next year, some big festivals that download again next year.
Yes. Main stage. It's incredible, boys. We've been on like 3 posters now, and we still haven't played the show. But because it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. But it's incredible. I mean, to play Donington, main stage, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. We're super buzzed.
Same day as Iron Maiden as well.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, you should be above then on the bill. Actually, they're a bit old now, aren't they? Fucking Iron Maiden.
Oh, I don't know. It's a bucket list. There's you know, there's so many bands that we grew up, and sadly they're not either with us or they're not together. It's fucking lovely to play. You know, I know a lot of rockers go, oh, when are they gonna fuck off? You know, for us, there's still a lot of bands I want to play with before they actually call it a day. Like, you know, so there's that element of like fucking hell, let a few more bands play with them before they
Yeah, for
they
sure.
call it a day, like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I'm totally stoked about that. I know it's a different genre or whatever, but I really respect their fan base. I think they like what they like, and that's it. And Iron Maiden put on a show, whether you like them or not. It's very theatrical.
Oh, they're brilliant, yeah.
They got
I've seen him fucking loads of times. I mean, I love him. Well, I used to
Yeah.
love him when I was a kid, like, you know.
that whole day is going to be a buzz, and it goes back to what Shane said earlier. You're going to learn a lot from a band with that pedigree, like, you know. And then let's not forget, Kiss are on the Friday night, and then Biffy Clyro on the Sunday. So it's turned out like it's absolutely quality, innit, mate? It's like a proper fucking brilliant, like.
It's so special. I mean, every band wants to play that stage. So to be a part of that is just incredible. Because there's been so many opportunities where, you know, when it was cancelled, like, that's our luck. Typical. That's our luck. It's not going to happen now. And then the year after, it's like, we're still on the poster. Yes. And then it doesn't happen again. You're like, shit, this is it. We're going to be off. It's not happening this time. And then we're still on it. So it's incredible. And thank you to Andy Coppin and all the Download folks for having faith in us. And we cannot wait to hit that stage.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Do you reckon you're going to get to play 3 times again?
All right, well, if we do, I want three lots of money. Dude, times have changed, eh?
Yeah, what was all that about? How come you played 3 times over the weekend then?
They just asked us if we wanted to play the VIP area, which is their RIP, which was incredible, boys. The courtyard, it was absolutely rammed. From the first sort of chord we played, it was just the vibe was incredible. It was a Thursday night, that was when they were on. Was it Thursday?
Yes. Yeah.
And the place was bouncing. It was such a good vibe, and I thought, well, that's just the courtyard on a Thursday. Imagine what it's going to be like in the tent. And then we played the tent on the Friday, which was rammed. People were trying to get in, and they couldn't. And then we did like this little acoustic session on the Carlsberg stage, just, you know, on some beer barrels, which was still epic. It was just brilliant. The whole weekend was class.
We said to our manager at the time, so it's an acoustic thing, yeah. Is that just Shane with an acoustic? No. Is it full band? Yes, full band. We turn up, it's fucking tiny, wasn't it? Fucking tiny. So fair play to the boys. They managed to grab some beer barrels, which left me and Lloyd then just sitting out with everybody else having a beer, watching them like this fucking. It was bonkers, like.
Yeah, I was like, are they getting paid for this? Are they getting paid for this?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was the only worry when the offer came through, is like, you know, like Shane said, is this wouldn't affect, like, because we were playing the Friday officially, like he said, in a tent and stuff, so we just didn't want that was the main one for us, like, you know. So when we got offered the Thursday, it was like, well, hang on now, is that going to affect the Friday? No. Okay then. And then they were like, oh, well, while you're at it, if you're playing the Thursday and you're playing the Friday, do you want to do Friday afternoon as well? So that's how it just kind of, we were just really fortunate that year, you know. It's like waiting for a bus, isn't it?
Yeah.
That old analogy, like, you know, we've been waiting for years to do Download, and next year, and it's that old line, next year, the bill's full now, like, right, okay. And then that year it was like fucking 3 times, so yeah. Incredible.
Amazing. So what would be the ultimate venue then for you guys, do you reckon?
Well, I'd love to play Wembley Stadium. I'd love to play the Welsh Stadium. Is it called Millennium Stadium now?
Yeah. Principality,
yeah. But I'd also, you know, we always say about the Royal Albert Hall, you know, those iconic sort of venues, really, where you've seen some of the biggest bands on the planet do their thing. So yeah, just following those footsteps, because there's some beautiful venues in the UK. So as many as possible, man. We're just gonna keep ticking.
Yeah.
Till the pen runs out.
Loving the castles at the moment, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Cruising the castle, beautiful.
Loving that.
But talking about the Royal Albert Hall, is that David told me something earlier about some symphonic
Palladium,
books? Is it the Palladium, is it?
Yeah. So I got tickets for that as well, Shane.
Oh,
So I am a bit of a stalker, but you know, Terry keeps calling me a stalker all the time. As soon as that was announced, so that's going to be really, really exciting. So you must be so stoked to be doing that as well.
Yeah, it's one of those incredibly excited, incredibly nervous. You know what I mean? It's one of those, you know, you're singing Queen, for God's sake. You're singing Freddie Mercury, arguably one of the best frontman there ever was. So I'm just going to go up there and do my thing, singing one of their songs and see how that goes. But yeah, a lot of people have texted and sent lovely messages, like you just said there, you know, book tickets, can't wait to see you. So it's incredibly exciting, an honor, incredible honor. And to have, you know, the orchestra there as well, that ticks my box for me. Like, I love all that, strings and stuff. So yeah, it should be brilliant, as long as I, you know, don't come down with the flu or something. It should be good.
Yeah.
Is Brian May and all them not going to be there, or?
I couldn't possibly say.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't know?
It's what I've been told to say.
Oh.
Generally, I've been told to say that. I couldn't possibly say.
Ah, right, okay, cool. All right then, guys. Well, we won't keep you too much longer. I mean, I'd like to just touch on a Crowcast, which you do every week. Comes out every Tuesday, does it?
Every Tuesday, and this week is episode 73.
73, wow.
Yeah, and we only missed 1 week, which is still... Shane knows what I'm like. See, we're buggers. Like, when we grew up, like he said, we're very competitive. In a good way, there's nothing nasty about it, but... And it's just what we're like, innit? We can't. So if we miss weeks or anything like that, we give ourselves an hard time. Like, that's the best way to explain it, like, you know. So I'm very proud that we've managed 73 weeks and spoke to some incredible guests, gained a new fan base globally. It's just everything that we wanted, really, wasn't it? It was like, you know, people go, I bet you didn't expect that. We were like, well, that's why we did it. We were like,
Yeah.
you know, it was the case of, we wanted to invite everybody into our homes. You know, this is our homes, like, you know, it's, we just wanted to invite everybody there, and we told a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have, maybe, but it was the case of, it was a delicate time, which I think, you know, myself needed as well. We all needed that connection and to feel heard, like, you know, and Shane used to hit that home, the relevance of it, because, you know, all the fun and games is great every week, and the guests, like I said, you know, from Danny Bowes to Ricky Warwick to Ruth Jones to Doug Aldridge it's incredible, like, you know, and but Shane used to say the important things as well, of, like, you know, the mental health and how everybody was struggling and fitness wise. And then you get the Crow family and come up with the idea of starting a new Crow fitness page, and we'd encourage that, and that would spin off. And then we ended up doing like an army camp thing 1 week, or every week, wasn't it? We all had to do a task, and God, that seems like ages ago now, doesn't it? Like, oh my God, as I'm saying it, the drinking, you know, it's a few episodes I've looked back on, and I know myself and him are well on the way. Like, you know, it's one of those, they're like 4-hour shows. So you're just basically getting pissed live, and just telling stories and talking to people, which was, it's magnificent, like, you know, but a lot of work's gone into it as well. You know, you boys know that if you're doing this, it's the, you know, the moment that the knock off record, you got to start doing your promoting, you have to start, it's just so much work that goes into it, tracking down guests, organizing that, and then if a guest doesn't turn up, you have to kind of bounce, and a lot of hours we put pressure on ourselves because it's live as well, as in you know, if we have had technical issues, which have been brilliant because it's experience, but at the same time you shit yourself, don't you, Shane? It's like it's awful. Like, you know, he's had weeks where, like, he hadn't been able to join because of the internet, and then I've had weeks where I've been spat out, and we won. And then 1 week we asked, like, it was Saxon, I don't mind saying it, we were like, can we use a song? Yeah, no worries. Spoke to the manager, everything was great, and the next thing you know, we're seeing the figures going down on the screen, and we're like, fuck, what's going on? And, like, obviously the copyright had kicked in, using the song, which, like, kicked pretty much all the audience out, and then it was like, fuck, so we all had to bail to YouTube. Oh man, I don't know what it's been like for you, Shane, but it's mad, isn't it? 73 weeks, like,
incredible. But and you know, it is one of those things where we've been thinking about it for ages, boys. Years ago, we started, and it basically, we were in my garage and we started talking about track by track of our first album, and we thought that we could do like this podcast and get it done and that. But obviously the pandemic again opened doors with Zoom and all these other sort of software to do a visual sort of podcast, and we just jumped on it. I mean, it was something myself and Ron wanted to do ages ago, so it was just the perfect timing, really. And to see everybody, like, honestly, boys, right? We go to gigs now. That's one of the first things they say. Oh, we love Crowcast. Thank you so much for Crowcast. You won't believe how much you've helped me, blah, blah. That's an incredible feeling. That's like, you know, we're just 5 boys going on stage, having a drink, talking to people, and people are feeling part of the community, and it's doing good up here, and they're part of something, and that's so fucking important. So just for that alone, it's been a blessing. Incredible.
Yeah.
I was furloughed for the first 4 months of it. So every Tuesday night I'd be in the garden with the hot tub, can of beer, watching it for 4 hours on my phone, and then screaming to the missus to get the adapter so I could plug the phone back in. And awesome, absolutely.
You must have been wrinkly butt in that hot tub for 4 hours, dude. Like a prune get out of there.
Entering all the competitions, because I remember you had one of the black and white CDs, and it was the lyrics. I was like, oh, my fucking phone, come on. And I could see my name going up. I was like, come on, Dave Evans. Congratulations, what a love.
Yeah, I think the last long one we did, because we try and keep them really short now, because obviously everyone's got work in the morning and that. So we did the anniversary, and that one was a long one, and we were giggly and a bit fucking on the way again. And I think that was a 3.5, 4 hour stint.
Yeah.
But those ones, they were such a good crack. Now I look back, I mean, everyone's saying how slicker it's become and how professional, and a lot of bands now contact us, a lot of PR companies contact us, which is amazing. And that's a real, hard work. Again, it goes back 360 to what we talked about earlier. If you work hard and make a success, good things come. But those earlier ones were funny. We never really knew what we were doing, as in, like, we had an idea, a start and end, and some of the stuff from where it would go, and then like Shane doing what's the next line, and coming up with jingles for that, which, like, we'd be pissing ourselves for it, just the band, like. So that's without even going on air live. We'd make ourselves laugh. And the Daves, did you know? Because he used to just interrupt, didn't he? It was just like, he just, like, seriously, did you know? And then he'd just start. We were like, right, that's it. And I think it was a joke one episode. Just give him the full fucking screen, and we sat back. Yeah, go on, Dave. And that was it. He was like, right. And, you know, he really lived up that moment. Right, this is my moment. It was like, right, fuck it. Now every week, that's it. You got to come up with a thing. And the worst thing about that, as you know, Dave, like, certain weeks we'd be like, right, over to Dave, and he'd say a really shit fact. We'd like, have you got any more? And he's like, what you mean, have you got any more? That's like, well, it's your fucking week. This is your segment. It's got to be, you know. So, and all this is happening live. And I think that's what people liked, is how we react with each other, and the honesty, or, you know, there's been some really deep moments on there as well. I mean, I've loved, like, having the Crow family sending in videos, and getting a look at where they live as well, which is, you know, is trustworthy as well. So they were sending us where they are and how they were coping with the whole pandemic. And then right up to, like I said, just like some of the guests we've had, which has just been incredible. Like, you know, sitting down with Charlie Starr from Black We Smoke, like, do you know what I mean? It was fucking surreal. And then talking football with Doug Aldridge, or soccer, as he said, I'm coaching my son. So he gives you an insight to his, like, his pandemic life, like, you know, this is what's going on at the moment. And Ricky Warwick coming back on, when I want to come back on, hang out with the boys, or play an acoustic track. Fuck, you know, it's just so many moments, like, do you know what I mean? It's incredible, like, incredible. It is hard to juggle in mine now. It's like I said, you boys are doing this now. You get the vibe, like, you know, and we're in the road again now. So it's
I will always fill in for you.
We'll have
Anytime.
to do that one week. We'll just have to, like, set up the stream and just get other people like, hi, I'm Shane, I'm Ronnie.
Well, Cumbranis Valley of the Crows, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got my crow's nest, look.
Yeah,
Love it,
good man.
I love it. Yeah.
It might be a bit difficult for you coming up.
Appetite.
What do you say, Dave?
But we've got new fans. There was new fans on the road, and Shane will tell you that had never seen us live. And that's what's incredible about Crowcast. They've never seen us live, and then they've watched Crowcast, and then all of a sudden now they've bought tickets to whether it be the Castle, Wild Arts coming up, or whether it be shows next year. They're already buying tickets for them because they just never seen us live. They just seen us on a Tuesday night live at 9, talking shit. Like, that was the general case of it, wasn't it? It was like, what are we going to talk about next week? And the guests have been, like I said, been brilliant. I had Mikey on as well from Steelhouse, and just great. Like, just so many positives have come from that. And a lot of people abroad as well, which is amazing. We didn't realize how many people were listening in America, which is incredible. Like, you know, so power of the internet, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think that's what like Terry touched on earlier on, is everybody gets to know your personalities as well, so they get to like you as people, not only as artists, which is really, really important. And where, you know, you're meeting up with guys after the show and having a chat and all that goes such a long way. You know, for me as a fan, you know, I got 2 of your drumsticks here, and I got plectrums downstairs and things like that. It's, you know, it's awesome. It's like you said, you're part of the family. Do you feel that you are part of the family? You know what I mean? It is. It's really special to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, people like people. Do you know? It's like they say that in the old sales game. I remember selling kitchens. God, you know, people buy off people, but they do. You know what I mean? You could know all the sales technique in the world, but if you're a likable person, like, we don't go out of our way to be likable. We just you know, do what we do. And but so many people have said how much they love it and enjoy it. And again, it's that community thing. They're a part of it, like, you know. And I still, to this day, boys, literally seconds before we go on every Tuesday, I looked on the right-hand column, and there's everybody saying, "Hey, Crows," you know, and it's just, they're saying hello to each other. Forward, even on the screen.
Yeah.
And it hits me every time before we come on. I look at it, and I just, there's a massive smile on my face. And it's like, look at the effect there. That's just incredible. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And they're meeting at gigs now as well, aren't they, Shane?
Yeah, they're going by themselves and meeting people there, like.
Yeah. It's good, man. It is great.
I don't know if you've done that yet, Dave, or whether you talk to anybody on the Crowcast if you talk to them. But a lot of them, if you notice, they're having a conversation. It's not rude. They're just like literally, that was the whole point of it. It's interactive. Because we say it to some guests and they don't get it until they're on. And then some of them are a little bit like, fucking hell, wow.
Yeah.
And they've genuinely said that to us, haven't they, Shane? Because they're like, wow, we didn't realize how they're interactive, and they're literally having a conversation like as if we're all down the pub.
Yeah.
And that was the point. How can we bring people closer together? And I think that was one of the things when we just did a few dates out on the road. It brought a tear to my eye a few times, I'm not going to lie, where some people, like Shane said, I'm not going to name their names, but they said, I had such a shit time in COVID, and I met, and they'll name somebody out of the group, as Shane knows that column. And they've connected with them in a gig now. So they've actually met up for the first time and thanked each other for the support as well. Like, you know, and then it's like, I'll see you Tuesday. And then they'll watch. It's fucking brilliant, that is. Like, that's, you know, that's snowballed into something so special. I'm just so proud to be a small part of, like, you know, it's incredible.
Yeah, I met Bea. So I was talking to Bea during one of your Crowcasts. And then I met her at a gig, and I sort of like recognised her then from a Facebook picture, but I didn't really know if it was her or not. Do you know what I mean? So I was kind of like, "Is that her? Is that not her?" And she was with this huge bloke by the side. I thought, "Oh, I might go up and get smacked by him or whatever." I was kind of like, "Are you Bea?" She was like, "Dave?" I was like, "Yeah."
See, that just makes me feel so happy, man. That's because you're absolutely right, bud. You become good friends, but they haven't even met. So it's like us meeting guests that we haven't met yet. And it's happened a couple of times, like at Download and stuff. We had a couple of boys on and we met them at Download for the first time. And it's just like, yeah, it's that little awkward moment, but then you put your arms around each other, you hug, and then it's like, you know, it's incredible. It's a brilliant feeling. But going back to the guests, so when a lot of people realize like there's people like watching live, they freak out a bit. It's like, so we just say like, you know, if there's some questions, can we ask you some questions live? Like, I don't know. It's like, no, we'll scan through them. We won't set you up. But that's the whole point of Crowcast, that live thing. And hey, maybe we do need to do the pre-recorded thing, especially if we go on the road and stuff, because we do want to keep going. But maybe that's a feasible way of doing it. But the whole essence of it being live is someone can comment, and if we want to, we can bring that up. Do you know what I mean? And then it's that spontaneity, that's human interaction, and that's not, you know, cutting out what's good and what's not. It is what it is, flaws and all, and I love that. Obviously, got to be careful. We can't be, you know, we wouldn't set any of the guests up. Of course, we wouldn't. But there is that little bit of, it's a bit exciting. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anything can happen. Yeah. And usually does.
Well, we'll see when we come on your podcast.
There we go.
Here we are, yeah.
That'd be a disaster.
Look out this.
There'll be nobody watching that week. You're like, ooh, who the fuck are they?
Yeah.
All right then. Hey, got any more, Dave?
I got plenty of questions, but I don't know how much time these lads have got because we've chopped them for a while.
Yeah.
So, when you were growing up, then I know we've touched on it a little bit. Who were your big musical influences?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, go on, because it's Queen, Nirvana. It's a really weird one because, like I said earlier, I was brought up in like the showbiz side of things, so it's really bonkers. Like the music I was listening to was like, you know, Phantom of the Opera and stuff. Like whatever my dad was playing, you'd be hearing songs from shows and stuff. But then the first rock, or what really gripped me, was like watching Queen. We were on about it over COVID when we were drinking, and it was that whole Live Aid. Yeah. And sadly, then it's like you start looking into that, and then Green Day growing up when I was like 14. And we started getting into bands together. There was like Ducky for me, which was a great record. And it would be Nirvana. Grunge just blew up. And then it was a whole, for us, I know it's not a great era for a lot of people, but for us, it was like the rabbit hole of Mother Love Bone, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. It was just that whole like, fucking hell, this is like something I connect with you. I really want to grow my hair. I want to wear the most like obscene clothes and drink cider up in the park, like, you know, and just listen to music. And that's all we did was hang out, and it was just brilliant, like, you know. And then later in life, then I got into my, you know, my AC/DCs and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely the Queens and Nirvanas of this, you know, that's what grabbed me, like, personally.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. I mean, everything you just said, very similar backgrounds, myself and Ron, and those bands, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Green Day, they were just like, they were everything when we were kids. They were just, and he was, I think what was so thing, boys, is that, you know, when you look at bands like Queen and stuff, they were rock gods. Zeppelin, AC/DC, rock gods. But these bands we're talking about, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Green Day, they all kind of like look like us. Do you know what I mean? They was like, they didn't look like rock stars, but they had an attitude and they had something to say. And I think that we're talking about connection all the way through this podcast. And I think that's what it was. It was just, as kids, it was something, I don't know, it was almost like, it wasn't punk, obviously, but it still had that punk element. Do you know what I mean? Love, I'm going to wear what I want to wear, you know? I'm not going to wear tight jeans and a vest. I'm going to wear a green scruffy jumper, long hair, greasy. Do you know what I mean? It was like us. It was teenagers. That's what we looked like. So absolutely all that. But going back, my dad, huge in country music. So any sort of singer songwriter, I loved all that. Anything with a story, really. But yeah, exactly same as Ron, really.
Yeah. Cool. And what about with your songwriting then, guys? You know, where do you get your inspirations from? With actually, you know, the lyrics and what have you?
Lyrics is Shane's vibe. It's I tried to write some early on in the band. It's not an easy job. And like, I think what makes this band work is if like he can tell a story as well, and make sense. But he's not one of those frontmen. I'm only talking for him here because I want people to know that he's not a singer or a frontman who shuts people out as well. So if Lloyd says something in practice and Shane loves the words of it, or he likes the meaning of a song, and he's always done that with me as well, or even in the early days, he's like molded what I've brought to the table and then turned it into something which resonates with the Crow family, or resonates with music fans in general, like, you know. So but he's the lyric meister. Or I said to him recently that I'm trying to kind of learn how he writes, because then it helps then when you're in a band, especially if you are creative and you want to write, you can kind of understand then how to present things a bit better, rather than, I used to laugh with Shane because I'd just be like, chuck it on your stereo or whatever. It'd just be like, just random line. And the rest of the song didn't, you know, like Shane might go, what's that about then, bud? And I'd be like, fucking listening to songs, isn't it? Yeah. What's it about then? What's your, like you said, what's your influence for that? Well, fucking listening to radio, isn't it? That's what it is. And he's like, well, how does that make sense to what you're writing over there? And that is learning. Like, that's brilliant then, because he is right. It was just banging a lot of words together. And like, I know a lot of bands might still do it, or if they're guilty of it, you just come up with a hook line, and that's what I was always about, just a hook line. And then I didn't really look at the rest of the song as important, like, you know. Shane's view on it is completely different, and I respect it. Like, you look at it different, don't you, Shane?
Well, yes and no. I mean, melody's paramount, boys. It's like you could be the best poet in the world. If nobody's gonna sing those words back to you, you aren't creating music. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not creating a song, you're creating tunes, I guess, rather than songs that like hit you there, smack bang in there. Like, but again, it comes back to that, you know, that storytelling as a kid. That's what I listened to. So that was my foundation. And there was a start and an end to a song. You know, whether it be a country guy singing about his dead dog, or his missus has left, or what have you. There was always a story. And I'm not like that. It doesn't have to have this start and finish, but a context, and you can add shit then, you know, through life experiences myself. I'd always put 80% of my life experiences in, and then you can manipulate and alter and make it more general for everybody else to think, you know. Because 9 times out of 10, the way I believe is if I felt something, 99% of the world have too. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes we can be so egotistic and think, oh, I'm the only one that's felt like I'm the only bullshit. Everyone have at some point. So tapping into that, boys, and being observing others. I'm always watching. As I always, you know, Mike Wazowski off Monsters Inc. But me and Ronnie would always say, I'm always watching. I'm always looking at somebody's reaction, not what they say, how they're reacting, what their face is saying. Do you know what I mean? There may be something, and I think that has helped me out no end as well. Sounds a bit creepy, really, doesn't it? But
I like to sit like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you know, saying something and expressing it they're two different things. You know what I mean? You can lie, can't you, through your teeth? You can put on this face, this persona, and think everything's good. Like, but and that's what I tend to do. I kind of write about feelings as opposed to words that describe specific things. It's tapping in on that feeling, and that's why music for me always comes first, because that music will give you the backbone of your song. How the rise and flow of a song will tell you the emotion straight away. That's why I love string music, orchestral music, because it's universal. You don't need to, whether it be, you know, Dutch, Welsh, whatever. You hear that music first, and the melody will tell you everything about the feel of that song. And if you marry that with lyrics and that hits home, that's a beautiful relationship. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Eagles, so
oh man,
you know, for songwriting, they're amazing. Like,
yeah,
incredible.
Lloyd's in love with them, and he's fortunate to see the full lineup as well. Like, you know, so that's a band that I said earlier that you look at bands that are sadly not here. That's when we were talking about that the other day when we were literally on the tip of our tongue of a band that we wish that we would have gone and seen, like, you know, and respect the melody. Yet again, like Shane said, is we're always thinking a melody. Like, we've ditched so many songs which are kind of cool and they got good vibes to them, or great backbeats, or like Shane said, maybe a good lyric content, but the melody isn't. It doesn't sing, does it? It's no. And like, you know, a big part of what the Crows are is how does it relate on stage as well? How do we? There's nothing fake about it. We couldn't really perform anything that you can't get behind, or you can't feel the emotion, like, you know. And that's a big thing for me. Like, you know, same as like Blink of an Eye. I remember jamming that in its earliest form to jamming it the other day with Shane on live on stage, and it's incredible the journey of just that one song and how it's changed. And live is changed, and then the piano format of it has changed, and now he's changed. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who haven't seen, but like the melody that we did in Steelhouse, because he came, I got an idea, and so that's evolved, and yet again that's a sign of a good song, where you can change it, but not too much. Where, as we know, certain genuine, you know, purists would go, well, they fucked that up, haven't they?
Yeah.
They fucked that up. They've gone all,
Imagine that if you.
They've gone all fucking, you know, prog with that, haven't they? And they can't just sing the fucking song, can they? They can't just fucking sing. And that's the you know, you've got to be true to the song, but then you have to evolve, and it all comes back down to our influences of Queen, Nirvana, or you know, it's just got to be bands that connect more than anything. And I think that's with songwriting as well. You've got to play and perform stuff that you believe in. Otherwise people will just fucking see through it when they, like, you know, it's or it just keeps you at a level. And you know, as Shane said, you've got to break the ceilings, you've got to break those glass ceilings, and if you want to get to the higher ground, you've just got to keep fucking playing stuff that even if you don't like it, to see where it takes you, like, you know. We jam a lot now, don't we? As in, like, he picks up a guitar often. He's got a guitar, and we're in jams and stuff. That's nothing against the other guitarists, but we'll often just fucking jam shit for like an hour, and there might be something there, there might not be, like, you know. 9 out of 10 we'll end up using it in a song or whatever. But you've got to kind of have a feel in a jam for something, rather than just like, oh, I've brought this to the table, and that might not necessarily work for 3 other people, or it just hasn't got that organic vibe, like, you know. And I just think pure music always fucking wins, like, you know.
Yeah, no, so yeah, touching on when you said about Blink, that's actually on my funeral list. It sounds a bit sad, doesn't it, and a bit big, but so I've actually already told my missus that, so with, as I mentioned about Jepson earlier on, so Little Angels, Don't Pray For Me, and then yourselves, Blink of an Eye, is on my funeral procession list, so you'll have to learn them if I go before you.
It is incredible though, Dave, like, because, you know, it has been used on funerals already, and it's such a surreal, a wonderful thing, but a sad thing at the same time. And yeah, my nan said it too. I'm having that, and my friend, like, Jesus, let's not talk about that. But it, you know, you're making music that's affecting people, and
yeah, that's right.
That is, you know, take the money side of things, take, you know, the experiences out of thing. That alone, that makes us feel so proud. Like, you know, that's affected someone that much.
Yeah, it's a special song. Yeah.
Well, I think the whole journey of this for myself and Mr. Green over there was, we said it whether we've had a few beers together. We said it when we were kids. It's become bigger than just becoming a success financially, and it's about becoming immortal within the music, like, and that might sound really cheesy and cliche to people, but I don't care. Like, it's for me, I want the music to stand and be around longer than anything that we could have hoped for, like, do you know what I mean? Because yeah, we could play Royal Albert Hall like Shane said, or I fucking love to do Wembley the same. We got the same bucket lists, and your Watkins and Rockham Rings and Lollapalooza out in America, but once you've done them, they're a memory and it's amazing, but you take them to the grave. Your music, I just want that to live on, like, you know. I'd love family trees to grow and go, oh, that was blah blah blah, and you know, and the ethos or the dream that surrounded the Crows of like work hard and it doesn't matter how long your journey is, you'll get to your destination. It all becomes part of that music as well. Like, you know, it's that I think that's far more powerful than a big bank balance. Which wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, that's nice to have as well. Yeah.
Which at that point you can go to our Just Fund Me page.
No, but even like on the Crow family, like there's little kids, boys, you know, singing our, you know, little videos of them singing our tunes, and it's just spread that like wildfire, because that's the next generation, man. So, you know, Ronnie's absolutely bang on. To immortalize our music, that's incredible. That'd be incredible. And when I'm gone, then someone can sing our songs like I'm doing for Freddie.
That's it.
Our songs. What a feeling that would be, man. It's just.
So if while we're there, then who would you want to sing your songs? Obviously, you have to be alive.
They're not fucking born yet, I expect.
Yeah, there's this 3-year-old up in hell of a voice. Oh man,
It'll all change when his balls drop.
Eddie Vedder, I'd love Eddie to cover one of our songs. Or get on stage with him and sing one of our songs. That'd be incredible.
What about you, Ron?
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I mean, age dependent, and I hope, you know, we're around for a long time yet. But I mean, currently on the scene, oh, good God, that's such a good question. That is, I've never been asked that question. Who would sing? See, my natural, but he ain't with us, is Chris Cornell. That would have been incredible, as in like to sing. Because I always look at it, it's got to be somebody who can. I don't know, like us. Jesus Christ, that's literally. Biffy Clyro, maybe the singer from Biffy Clyro. It's just to try and channel that emotion, like, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to think of somebody young as well, like, you know. So with the newer bands, I don't really know, because they've all got different styles and voices and stuff, like, if that makes sense. And some are quite they have a twang, or they have an accent to their voice. So I can't quite picture who could sing a Crow song like Shane would sing at the moment, if that makes sense.
For me, you would have to be somebody Welsh, because the accent comes through the song.
Yeah, Tom Jones.
I was going to say, the way it's going, fucking Sir Tom's going to outlive us all.
Well, yeah,
he
probably still would be you, yeah.
Yeah, that was an easy one. I think he was actually top of my list there, but I was thinking, I don't want to see Tom Jones. Shane's like, oh, you want me to fucking die tomorrow, do you? But yeah, I suppose if we didn't do it as a pass away and somebody to cover in the next year, yeah, fucking hell, that'd be great to hear Tom sing a Greenall. That's great.
I'd love to hear him sing it as well, because his new album's a bit fucking rubbish, isn't it?
I haven't heard the new album. I know he's like back out and about. He's busy as hell, isn't he? Like,
he is busy, yeah.
I looked on Twitter the other day, and it's like fucking, he's just everywhere at the moment. And I'm like, just to have that get up and go is true testament to like how he loves it. Like, you know, it's it's not about the money anymore, is it? It's just about the legacy now. It's like,
to be honest, I think he's doing it just to keep himself going, you know.
Yeah.
Because since his wife died, and then he sort of went into a bit of a slump there, for a bit, and then his son sort of like encouraged him, and, you know, pretty much pulled his socks up for him and said, "Come on, Dad, give it one last shout," I think. And but yeah, I listened to his new album the other week, and it's a bit different, I'll say.
I am new to that, yeah, but I always imagine, I always remember Tom growing up, like when we were kids. I always remember him being kind of one of those singers who always played with R&B. Or he always mixed with people. He was one of the first I remember. You know, that's no insult to any other artist, but I always remember Tom Jones always looking to work with different, whether it be rock, whether it be R&B, whether it be jazz, whether it be,
Well, his TV show, but you look at the archives in his TV show, he was singing with Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and all, and he is literally matching them. They sing a line, or he riffs off, and then he sings a riff, and vocally, that guy, I don't care what anyone says, he'll always have it. It's
Gold.
incredible.
his voice is amazing.
It's liquid
He
gold.
would, like you said, he would sing anything, rock, R&B, gospel. He could do it all, country. Can literally sing anything, that man.
Yeah.
Someone put over a clip of The Voice the other day, boys, and I don't know when it's from, but it's like, you know, when they have the little breaks before they bring on another artist, and have you seen that clip?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that
David
blew me
posted it,
away.
didn't you?
Yeah, I posted it because I was absolutely blown away by it, because I haven't heard his new album. And then I was thinking, this is an 81-year-old guy who's kind of like judging a talent show, for want for a better word. And I can't remember the name of the female artist that was on there with him, but he absolutely annihilated her. And this is a young woman, you know what I mean? And he's 81 years of age. And I was thinking, fucking hell, how is he doing that? You know what I mean? Phenomenal.
Well, actually, what I seen, Dave, was a similar clip, but you know, like they're all sitting in their chairs. I just remember they were all sitting in their chairs, and he looked bored. He was just like looking around, and he just started singing. Oh, and like as he started going, everyone just fucking just turned, and he finished. He didn't just give a line or two. He gave a full fucking 3.5 minute, 4 minute fucking a cappella, and everybody just got up and was like. It was just tremendous, and not a break, not a crackle, just absolute pure liquid gold, like, you know. Long may it continue, innit?
Yeah. I mean, fair play. I mean, I saw him in Vegas 15 years ago now, I think.
Cool.
I went for my 40th, and my brother bought me tickets to go and see him in the MGM Grand.
Right.
And I was sat not far from the front. We were in the booths, and I don't know if you've ever been to Las Vegas. We were in the MGM Grand, and we were in the booths, and then you got a couple of like little seats in front tables. But the power that comes out of him is phenomenal. You know, it's unbelievable. It's like it just hits you. It's like you know, he's that far away from you, but it's still his voice is coming at you like a train. Like it's like
I don't know anybody else that can match his career, to be quite honest, because they're either passed away or their voice isn't just what it was. Do you know what I mean? That guy has sang with everyone, all the big hitters, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, anybody that's anybody, and he's still going.
Yeah.
You tell me someone else that's doing that right now. I don't know.
No, you can't, can you?
Yeah, the hits, the records sold, the touring. He's like...
Television, he's still doing.
That would be my only question to Tom, would be, is there anything on this earth that you wish you would have done? Is there anything...
The Crows, isn't it?
Cover a Crows song, that's what it is. That's what he's missing. That's what he's waiting for.
I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, the minute that happens, he could end up popping his clogs. So we'll have to let him carry on going for a bit.
Well, he's only up the road, isn't he?
I don't know where he lives now. I
don't know where he lives. I mean, I used to
Vegas, I assume.
That's what I thought. He was out in America, and I mean, this was going back years ago. I think me and Shane was still in a band back then, and I remember the stories of he used to have like a old phone box in his like American fucking house, wasn't it, Shane?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to talk about that, like, you know, and yeah. So I don't know where he lives now, like, you know. I know old old Hasselhoff. He lives up the road now. I think he's in Merthyr.
Yeah.
Is he? Because I contacted his management and he was in America a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but he was working out there, wasn't he? And obviously then he went over to Germany and worked with our metal band as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, maybe he's back out in America, but last I heard, I know a few people have put on the old socials, or they just happen to be friends, and they're like, fucking hell, bumped into David Hasselhoff and just having a Sunday dinner, like.
Amazing, isn't it?
Well, I know Tom's management is still in Pontypridd, I think.
Really?
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Because I phoned him up the other week, but it was just an answer phone, so maybe he is in America.
Yeah.
Wasn't his original name Thomas? Was it Thomas Woodward?
I don't know. I can't remember.
No.
I can't remember. He had a original name, like he's changed it to Tom Jones, didn't he?
Really? I don't know.
Surely he was called.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
No. Do the research. Someone message me if I'm talking absolute
Hang on, I'm
shit.
going to look it up.
But I'm pretty sure, because my nan, I love my nan. She's not here. My nan was convinced she was fucking dating Tom Jones for years.
She dated
She
him.
genuinely wasn't, so I'm not even starting a rumor. She just convinced herself. She was like, I dated him for years. She
It's all right.
loved
On a
him.
night out with Padge, Padge tells everybody I'm Tom Jones's son. You know what I do? That's Tom Jones's boy, that is. Sing for him, but go on, sing for him. I'm not. I know you monkey. What are you on about?
Yeah, you're right.
He was
You're right.
Woodward.
Yeah, Woodward.
No
Thomas
way.
Woodward. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he's related to Edward Woodward, the Equalizer.
That's Iwa Woo if you take out all the D's, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
All right,
There's an old-
Borat.
That's an old Welsh joke, that is.
That's
Yeah.
it. And Tom Hardy was in Barry Island the other day as well, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, that was on Facebook.
Aye, my wife told me about that one.
Yeah, he was at Morrison's in or some store in it was either Barry Island or Porthcawl, it might have been actually. But
What was he doing down there?
She was awfully excited. She was like, Tom Hardy's in Barry. I was like, so? He's allowed to go to Barry? Yeah, but Tom Hardy's in Barry. I was like, sound a bit excited, but there, Jesus Christ. There we are.
yeah. All the international stars are coming over here.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Why not though? Because like we talked all through COVID. It's such a beautiful country. It's
Yeah.
stunning.
Yeah.
And I'm proud now to say that I've discovered a lot more of it. Like, you know, especially like the forestry trails, the beaches. I think all the band have been out and about and just spending this time kind of discovering where we live, like, you know, and appreciating where we live as well. Because I know a lot of people up country, or I know you're over in Holland, but a lot of people are just, you know, they're stuck in a city with no garden. We were talking about this the other day, and I really appreciate where we live. Like, you know, I could put a photo up online, and I'll have a photo saying, "Are you in Canada?" No, I'm in the valleys, but
Yeah, it's
My Coidili, but
So how was your fitness kick? Are you all on it? 'Cause I see Shane doing some running now and again. Not,
yeah, I
not
mean,
literally, but
I'm into I swim every day now. I'm not running as much as I was. Only because I'll tell you the truth, boys. We play football, and after football, my joints. I've done so many injuries in football growing up. My ankles and my knees are screwed. So anything without, like, you know, the impact on the ground.
yeah.
So the less of that I can do, the better. So swimming is incredible for me. On the bikes, are brilliant for me. So I'm doing a lot of that. And I do the occasional running now on the treadmill in the house rather than going outside for a run. But yeah, I'm trying my best because these shows are going to come thick and fast, man. And I need to be fitter.
yeah. I guess. What about you, Ron?
yeah, mountain walks, beach. I've been going down the beach a lot. I'm finding like what Shane said. So I tend to run shorter distance, but like on sand, which is still harder, but it's great for me as a drummer as well. And it's all about like the oxygen with me and stuff as well. So I've been like going in the sea and
He does Hasselhoff impressions. He goes.
I do. I would never tell you the beach because it would look like, you know, someone would think fucking Wally's rocked up, like, you know, that the fucking that walrus at the moment. But yeah, it's just one of those where I look at some people through COVID and I think, oh, fair play to you. You did tremendous. And they look absolutely magnificent. And I look at myself now in the mirror at the moment and I'm like, fuck, you found ale. And that's the true story of COVID. I found, like, you know, I like certain ales and good food, and I did nothing but cook and fucking drink most of the time. And I used to do mountain walks, but the amount I was cooking and drinking, fuck me, I would have had to have done ultra marathons to work that off, like, you know. And so yeah, it's the same as Shane. You know, we're looking after ourselves and sensibly, because I started running, and I soon found out that the damage I was doing to myself wasn't worth the effort I was putting in. So I was putting 110% because that's what we're like. We're fucking 110% or nothing. And I couldn't move, or I couldn't, like, you know, the recovery was horrible.
Yeah.
So I just found that doing different things like what Shane has found, Apart from swimming, I'm finding that fucking hard at the moment because everywhere's booked up. But yeah, I've been going in to see a bit, drumming a lot more, which is fantastic. And like, I think the boys can see how when we're together now, it's so good to just fucking focus just on drumming, like, you know, rather than the distractions from life and footy. I think we were pissed on Saturday, and I was thanking Shane. Thank you for getting me back into football. I love football. No, it's just brilliant. I've missed that. I didn't realize how much I missed something. And like, we play on a Sunday, and obviously, you know, there's been a bit of banter on Crowcast against Steelhouse. And I love it. I love that. I just love that camaraderie, that whether it be an hour and a half what we play. I know Steelhouse can't quite play that amount. That's why we're waiting for him to get up to that level. But the point is, like, we play for an hour and a half, and we put everything into it again, don't we, Shane? It's like, and if anything, like, I played yesterday with him, and I was angry at myself because I was so hungover. So I was trying to play with an hangover because I know I can do better. But it's only a kick around. That's just our mentality. Like, so fitness is great. Lloyd's loving the running. Dave walks the dog loads, and Shiner loves walking as well. So I think it's so important what Shane said. We know that bigger gigs are coming as well, and we have to be ready for that and grab it with both hands rather than, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Or like, he's everywhere and he's climbing around like fucking Spider-Man. So, you know.
Also, I was saying to Terry before we come on here about the so that was another question I was going to ask you about the Christmas gigs, and that one you did down in the patty, and all of a sudden you disappeared and you ended up hanging over the edge.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I remember. You have to forgive me. I can't remember his name, but your roadie was hanging on to you for dear life.
Yeah, John Hill. Yeah, John Hill.
I think he thought you were going, didn't he?
I tell you what, he can be dangerous. He can sometimes, because he grabs you, right, and you're not expecting it, so it makes you, you know, jump. He grabs the back of my jeans, and I'm like, let me go, because now I can't move anywhere, and I feel more unsafe when someone's got me. But that was a narrow stairs up there, running across there. But the Apex was funny. We did a gig in the Apex a couple of weeks back. Was that last week or the week before? I can't remember. We got new crew. So there was a new guy following me, but in the Apex there was 3 flights of stairs to get to the top balcony. And he's a youngster. He's like, what the fuck have you got me doing? We were both knackered by the time we got it. It was brilliant, but such a great laugh. It's so funny. Great. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the highest one yet that he's done. I'm trying to work that one out because I had this conversation with someone, and not Shane. I had it with someone else the other day, and I'm trying to work out the highest he's been. I know it won't be the highest he'll get. I know he'll get fucking higher, but for some reason the Apex, I was shitting him a bit on that one. And it's quite funny actually, because we keep the music going as he's fucking gone on his jolly, and I never know. I'm the same as the crowd. The band don't really know where he's going to pop out, and I think that makes it for the band and everybody. Nobody kind of knows where he's going to appear. And when you did that night, I was a bit like, oh, fucking hell, someone put a light up there because it was dark. And then I could see his legs swing over. And I was like, I didn't know that he was being followed or spotted by one of the crew, which is great. So I'm thinking, oh, fuck. And then I'm looking how high it is. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, someone get Tom Jones on the phone. We might need him next week.
Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant.
David said to me, I wonder if they can do a Christmas show this year. We'll have to ask them when they come on. I said, they're not fucking walking my wise mind.
I was class. I was at Christmas show. I took my boy to that. It was such a good night. But I was, like, I keep saying it's last year, but it's like 2 years ago now, isn't it?
It's mental how fast it's gone. It was such a brilliant vibe. It was incredible. You're like, that bloody snow machine they got hired as well. Then remember the noise on that when he turned it on? I was like, turn that down, you can't hear me singing, yeah?
But the truth is, I was going to say the story, but I'm glad you brought it up. I thought, I won't bring it up just in case you want to forget about it. But there's this fucking beautiful moment, and it's like Silent Night. You can't write it, it's Spinal Tap as fuck. It's Silent Night. And the loudest fucking thing in the room isn't Shane playing a piano. It's a fucking snow machine.
Yeah.
Hell, like, oh man, honestly.
Yeah, but there was a lot. I mean, we love Christmas. We go on about Christmas, but there was a lot of love in our room, and everybody, you know, it's a special time of year, and it's just everybody was up for it. Yeah, incredible. Loved it. We will do it again at some point, no doubt. Christmas with the
Yes.
Crows.
Good.
Who knows?
It was good. That was the first time I'd seen Tribeless, because I think that was the first time they supported you guys as well.
Yes, actually, 'cause it was
Yes.
before the
Yeah.
Point of No Return tour. 'Cause, that was the big hoo-ha before the record came out, and then
Yeah. That was the original lineup, and it's a different lineup now. But yeah,
that's right. Yeah. But I think that was the point. I mean, there was so many things planned, but just, you know, the same as any band would probably come on here and say just everything. Can't really stick to the script at the moment. Everything's changing so fucking much that we're playing a castle in 3 weeks, and then it's the case of we're almost working out what can be done, and then there's obviously the politics of what's already booked, and you can't really play amongst certain things. So it's a weird one, and I think it's just amazing at the moment that we're actually out playing and talking about it to you boys. It's fucking incredible. And like Shane just saying how he was climbing in the Apex and being in North Wales, being at Bradford, Steelhouse. Just to be able to say that now is unbelievable. Because we sounded like a broken record talking about Germany. Because it was literally that and Birmingham, wasn't it? It was like, yeah, we played Birmingham and Germany, and people are like, I know, you fucking told us every week. I know. And then the worst thing is when we would still say that, and everybody, I know that was fucking last year. Well,
It's just fucked up, isn't it?
yeah, man. So good things, isn't it? It's all it'll all come, and we love Christmas, so I can't imagine it being the last. Like, you know.
Good.
Yeah. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope it's not the last Christmas. So,
there's a song in here somewhere.
yeah. All right then, guys. Well, thanks for joining us.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
And good luck in the castle. Not that you'll need it.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Epic.
That is. It's going to be awesome. Are you allowed to tell us how many people are going to be there?
We don't even know ourselves.
Okay.
I was going to ask, is there any castles in Holland?
Yeah, they call them castles, but they're more like big manor houses.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're not really castles, you know.
Or madhouse, like a madhouse.
No, manor house. They're like big
Manor
manor
house.
houses. More than
That'd be amazing.
No, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Fucking hell, suits us. We'll do a tour of madhouses. Like.
There's something in
Padded
it.
walls,
You
like,
have
yeah.
One who flew out of the cuckoo nest, flying crows. There's got to be a link here, isn't there?
There's one.
Yeah.
There's one here in Elmond that they call it. It's probably the most of a castle that there is of a castle, I suppose. I'll take some photos of it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
There we are.
Because they do put gigs on in there, in the field, like, you know, in the grounds, like, because they do like in the summer they do like shows every week for like 5 weeks through the holidays, and then they have a load of bands on and stuff. Obviously, it hasn't happened this year or last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
But next year it'll be picking up again, I expect.
Cool.
I think all we know about Cardiff Castle is it was a great cause, and we just got to work with the restrictions that are in play, as in, like, you know, this is Cardiff City Council's way of boosting the grassroots music scene, and that was why we signed up to it. So it was the case of, and I think as it snowballed and it sold out so quick, they've just been adding to it, which is fantastic. But they're still playing within the rules because, like, you know, same as anywhere, it can only move as quick as they allow it, like, you know. So
Yeah. But they have some massive festivals over here, to be honest.
in Holland,
Yeah.
I'd love to. Yeah,
Haven't you been over?
We were supposed to.
Oh, last year.
It was going to be last date of the tour originally. We were even planning. Well, actually, the truth was it was the last day of that tour, and then we had another tour which was going to be announced with another band. Which 3 days later, I think we started that tour, And me and Shane were already, we were like, yeah, well, fuck that tour a minute. We're going to stay in Amsterdam for the night for a couple of, so we were like, let's celebrate that tour. You can't just like go back home.
Got to sign it off, yeah.
Got to sign it off. So we were all like planning that, to be honest, and working out the gear and how the gear is going to get home, and then how we were going to get home. And it was like, yeah, so, and everything's just kind of been cancelled now or rescheduled. And I think with that, unfortunately, at the moment, it's definitely been put on ice, like, you know. So, yeah,
That's a shame.
was supposed to be our first time in Holland. So I genuinely can't wait, like, you know.
Yeah.
Same as we can't wait to go back to Germany because they looked after us so well out there. And
It's like that in Holland as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I mean, the hospitality that the venues put on for you is amazing, you know.
Oh.
So.
No, it's not one water bottle between 5 and.
No. Even with my little
tell.
band, when we were doing shows, it was fucking tremendous. You know, it was like unbelievable. And then you go back to the UK and you're playing in a band and you got to fucking beg for water sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You know, so.
Can we just have one bottle of Brecon water, please?
Yeah. All right then, guys.
Oh, it's been awesome.
We did 5 false endings with Sean Smith. So I'm not going to do fucking 5 again.
I love it.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, boys. Honestly, thank you for having us.
Thanks for your time, guys, because I know how busy you are. So
Yeah, really appreciate it.
coming on, and look forward to seeing you in Cardiff Castle. I can't wait. It's going to be
Brilliant.
amazing.
Yep, and we hope you come back and talk to us again.
We will, but
Well, we haven't put you off too much.
no, anytime. And good luck with the podcast as well, man.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely all the best, honestly.
Yeah,
Podcast.
thanks. All right.
Wicked. Thank you, boys.
All right,
Yeah,
cheers,
thanks a lot.
guys.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Ta-ra.
Ta-da.
All right, Dave.
Yeah, that was
That
fun,
went well.
right?
Yeah, that went
Brilliant.
really well.
Brilliant. Yeah, I can't believe we had him for 2 hours, 10 minute.
2 hours, I know, another long one. And I know these Welsh boys can talk like Sean Smith's saying.
Awesome.
So we've got a few more. I don't know if we've got any more Welsh people coming up shortly, but
It's all good, isn't it?
we'll have to cut them down a little bit.
It's great though, isn't it? It's just all the stories, and especially with the Crows, just the success they're having at the moment. There's lots to talk about, so it's awesome. Fabulous.
Yeah, good on them.
Yeah.
Wish them
brilliant.
all the best.
Yeah, I'm so pleased for him.
All right, cool. All right, then, mate. Well, I'll leave it there
Yeah.
and
Okay.
speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Ta-ra.
Ciao for now.
Ciao for now, as they say in Barry. Oh no, it wasn't in Barry, was it? I
Oh.
don't know where it was. Anyway, fucking hell, I'm going to ramble. Ta-ra.
All right.